So let's kick it off with The Monkey. In theaters right now. I say that because I think it's very important to support movies in the theater whenever possible. There's something about that communal experience. There's also something about not having that communal experience ruined by someone being a jerk. But it is adapted from the Stephen King short story. When I was a kid, that was the paperback that had the monkey on the cover, the paperback cover, the little toy organ grinder monkey. The premise is it's a killer organ grinder monkey. Not physically, it is imbued with the power of evil, of death. And if you wind it up, somebody's going to die. And you do not get to choose who's going to die. And the movie really maximizes this idea of you wind it up, right? And like you can wind it up and it doesn't immediately play the song, and it doesn't bang on the little drums. It does it on its own time. So like you wind it up and then nothing happens. Like it's kind of like Death Note. But is Death Note based on The Monkey, the Stephen King story? I would actually be really interested to find that out. You wind it up and then you I want so-and-so to meet this end. And then the monkey's not going to do what you want it to do because it's, this is itself a play on the monkey's paw idea. You get your wish, but it's not the wish. You get your wish answered, but not the way you want to. And there's always consequences, right? That's the thing. So that's probably the origin of it, is it started in the Victorian era, filtered through Stephen King, then to Death Note. I don't know. But Osgood Perkins has really maximized the tension here, because you never know after you wind the thing up when it's going to play that creepy little organ grinder carnival type song and tat, tat, tat on the drums, and then mayhem and carnage follows. But it's done in such a clever way, a fun way. The kill scenes in this movie are ridiculous, and they're so silly, and they're so over the top. Somebody in my comment section, maybe it was on social media, said that it reminded them of Final Destination. And I don't think it's tonally like Final Destination at all. Final Destination kind of freaked me out. This is a comedy. I mean, this is a really laugh out loud. It's intended to be funny. But I guess maybe the nature of the death scenes, like how elaborate they are, feels very similar to that. And I can get that. And I'm on board with that too. But I connect with this movie. Again, I don't think it's great. Let me be clear. I don't think this is a 5-star movie. First of all, I wouldn't know now anyway if it was, because we are wired for retrospect. Our brains are not made necessarily to appreciate the now. That's why everybody goes well, they don't make them like they used to, because we look back. When you want to talk about the Oscars now, you might not enjoy the Oscars today. Maybe if you watch an episode of an Oscars from 10 years ago, then you might have enough perspective to be that was actually a pretty good movie. We just seem wired to not be able to appreciate things in the now, to only appreciate them retroactively. But I don't think it's a timeless classic or anything like that, but it was a lot of fun. And especially after Longlegs, which I don't think, I did not love Longlegs. I thought Longlegs was, well, first of all, kind of funny, and I don't think a lot of people picked up on that, or maybe that was a unique reaction, because I saw these people talking about how dark, finally, pure horror is. I was it's kind of a comedy, right? Because the thing that Nicolas Cage is doing in that movie is so silly. It's so over the top. There's also a conversation that we could have about whether horror works or doesn't work. I think maybe is requirement. Do you believe in it? Do you believe in the subject matter? Are you committed to the subject matter? For horror movies about the Vatican, the Omen movies, those don't work for me because I have no history with the Catholic Church. The idea of that whole system, that doesn't really do a lot for me, because I'm well, I don't have the belief in that. But then other movies, Rob Zombie movies kind of freak me out, because he just throws flashing lights and loud music, and he overstimulates me to the point of horror. That's my horror, is overstimulation, I think. Longlegs is so in the shadow of Silence of the Lambs that it doesn't have its own identity. And that's something that I think even the director was very clear about. Even Osgood Perkins, who's the son of Anthony Perkins, Norman Bates from Psycho. So he's part of a horror dynasty. That's something he was very clear about in all the press around the Longlegs movie, is that I love Silence of the Lambs and I wanted to make a movie like that. Well, you did. You kind of made Silence of the Lambs again. But it could be this generation's Silence of the Lambs. I also think Silence of the Lambs is funny, so maybe that's just me. But this movie is legitimately funny. This movie is a straight up comedy. It's a dark comedy with crazy kill scenes and just the weirdest, most bizarre stuff. And I think it's fun, and I think people will enjoy it if they go check it out. I do have a review for this. I wrote a review for CerealAtMidnight.com. It's on Letterboxd. It's it's in the critics reviews on IMDb. I had a good time with it, and it made me excited about seeing the next Osgood Perkins movie, because now I'm starting to see, I'm like, oh, okay, I get what you're doing. And this movie has it does have a sense of identity. Like, the font of the credits is straight up mid-60s Italian Western. It's not a Western film, but it's that font. There's the use of music. He uses these like 50s and 60s rhythm and blues songs, and those are very anachronistic to the tone of to the violence on screen, but it works. It's kind of like what John Landis does with An American Werewolf in London, using these jaunty songs to undercut horrible things that are happening on screen. And it just has a sense of whimsy to it more than anything. It feels whimsical. It's a whimsical horror movie, and a lot of that is in the source material. That's in Stephen King. Stephen King has a sense of whimsy in a lot of the stuff that he does too. So I don't know. I recommend it. Again, I can't say that, oh, you're gonna love it. It's a great movie, but I think that there'll be something that you enjoy about The Monkey. And I would love. Can I just say, I would love to have a replica of that monkey, and if I could wind it up, and if it played that song and did the drum thing. Oh, here's the thing too, is like, when it starts to play the drums, you're like, oh, it's on. And then if the drum is in the upright position and it hasn't come down on the drumstick is in the upright position and hasn't come down on the drum yet, the death is not over. It's not finished. There's more to come. So if the toy did that, like if I had the little replica and like it didn't finish, oh man, that would be creepy and cool all at the same time. It's fun. I think it's worth checking out.